Hi YouTube, welcome to Shimmer Girl Talks. Today's topic is about the comment that Jason Whitlock said about the whole Tyre Nichols tragedy that happened a couple of weeks ago. And as you can imagine, his comments drew a lot of ire from even from celebrities. And I'm seeing a lot of men and a lot of women are coming up against him, calling him all kinds of names, as you can imagine. So, one thing about our community is we are very selective about what we want to be angry about. The women who are coming out against Jason Whitlock are the same women who have nothing to say about twerking, disgusting twerking videos about women twerking too, deleting babies, big fat naked women walking into black establishments in defiance. It's crickets when it comes to that. But oh goodness no, do not talk about the single black woman, the single black mother, I should say. And here is the irony. Have you noticed the majority of people who speak out against the whole black mother situation are people who were products of single mothers? I am a product of a single mother, and I can tell you that it is not the flex that so many black women try to make single motherhood out to be. It is actually damaging to our communities. And one thing that our community does not seem to realize is by getting married, that is wealth building. It is healthy family building, etc., etc. Our community does not seem to get that. Another thing that I would like to say is, you have so many black women saying, why are people always coming out against single mothers? We're the parent that stayed and this and that. The reason why it feels like people are coming out against single mothers is because the majority of single mothers do not hold themselves or each other accountable. They want to blame men or they want to blame women like me. I had this woman years ago tell me, it's women like you, the reason why these men be walking away from their responsibilities. Are you serious? I'm thinking I wasn't in a bedroom with you when you made that child or children. And here's the funny thing. If single motherhood is at 80%, it's actually the single mothers, and I'm not talking widows, I'm not talking divorced mothers, although I have an opinion about them, as I've said in previous videos. But I try to, usually when I speak about single motherhood, it's the never marrieds. It's the ones who feel entitled to everybody else helping them and them sitting back like, I'm entitled to your help because I'm a helpless single mother. That's a crock of bull. So the irony is, not irony, but my thing is, no, it's actually the ones of you who lay up with men that you know is a deadbeat, that you know is not husband material, that you know is not father material. You women are the ones who are telling these men, and if the statistics are right, it's 16% of black men in a black community who are the ones making all of these childless children. And as I've told women on my channel, as I told women over the years, you don't have to be a single mother. Black women are choosing to be single mothers, but then they also want to play victim. When you made the choice to become a single mother, and it is a choice. Okay, so let's get to the point of this video. And this is a quote from Jason Whitlock and what he said about the Tyre Nichols murder. And that's what it was. It was a murder. And the rumor is one of the police officers, again, it's a rumor, baby mama was with the victim. Tyre Nichols was killed by someone's supposed baby daddy. At this point, it's a rumor. I guess his parents, his stepfather, is denying this. But as a 29-year-old man, you don't know what people be doing in their private lives. So I don't know. So this is a quote from Jason Whitlock. It looked like what young Black men do when they're supervised by a single Black woman. And that's what they got going on in Memphis, in the Memphis Police Department. They've elected some or put some Black woman in charge of the police force, and we are getting the same kind of chaos and disunity and violence that we see in a lot of these singles in these cities run by single mothers, he continued. Now, this is not a quote from him, I don't think. Not surprisingly, the blowback to Whitlock's inflammatory and triggering statements was swift and severe from the Black community. And I'm going to stop right there for a second. See, this is what I mean about we are selective about what we want to be upset about. When it's fixing the single mother epidemic would change so much in our communities across the board. Now, you have a lot of Black women saying things like, but it be the Black men that be leaving us with these kids and blah, 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 blah. And as I said in a previous video, that is not always the case. If you listen to a lot of those women long enough, you will find out a lot of them weren't really in relationships with the man that they chose to lay up with. A lot of it was hit it and quit it, smash and dash, pump and dump. I needed some, so I got some. And then they want to make the man step up to the plate when he let her know from jump, hey, I'm not a reliable man. I'm a piece of trash, as a matter of fact. But those women still happily jump into bed with those types of men. But I've already done a video on that, so I'm not going to rehash it. So I may put it in the descriptions, I may not. So I don't like the backlash that this Jason Whitlock got. And again, I don't know a lot about him. I never heard of him until this comment. But the single mother epidemic needs to be discussed. Now, you had some people saying things like, that wasn't the time and place to be discussing it right now and whatever. I don't know if it was or wasn't, but when is the correct time and place? Because this is a topic that no one wants to take seriously. Like I said, you had celebrities, Sierra, I think Holly Robinson Pete, came out of the woodwork to lash out at this man. Now, how come these women don't come out of the woodwork to talk about rapping to deletion of Black babies? How come these women don't come out and discuss twerking on cars in public, twerking in restaurants while people are trying to have their lunch or dinner? No one wants to talk about that. Let me tell y'all, again, as someone who grew up in a single mother run home, now my mother, she had me out of wedlock. I've mentioned this before. And then she met and married my stepfather when I was 1 year old. And he was in my life until I was 7. He didn't leave. My mother put him out. So back then, there was still some semblance of shame to being a single mother, just a little bit, because we lived in a white community, but we lived in the projects, a predominantly Black, overwhelmingly single Black mother projects in a city of middle class to upper class white people. So even as a kid, I noticed something was off. Like, okay, well, I just had my mother and my brothers, while the white kids that I went to school with, they had their mother and their father, and they lived a whole lot better than we did. And going back, I don't know if I said it in this particular video, but going back to the ones of us who talk about these things, when I was watching Kevin Samuels one day and he got really heated with this one woman, he got heated with a lot of women. And if no one knows, if this is your first time watching my videos, I'm team Kevin Samuels. I'm team Kevin Samuels. But when you really stop to listen to him, he was coming from a place of frustration and probably hurt from being raised by a single mother. It's not the flex that so many Black women try to make it out to be. And the thing is, if the Black women who are single mothers were to start taking accountability for the choice that they made, you knew that man wasn't no good. You knew he wasn't no good. You can say all you want that he switched up on you and all of that stuff. Men be telling us early on what they're about. We don't always listen. But again, I've already done similar videos on that. So let's finish this, what I printed out. In fact, one respondent highlighted Whitlock's deafening silence about white mothers when young white men terrorized the nation with mass shootings in schools, churches, and grocery stores. Okay, so my comment to that would be white people need to be discussing that, not us. And here's something else. Black people love to compare, well, white people do it too, when it comes to the negative aspects of our community. White people are also going to college and living in 5-bedroom mansions and upper, middle class areas and stuff like that. The Black community across the board is overwhelmingly lower income. And please don't come at me with, well, I make X amount of dollars and I don't either. But it doesn't mean that I can't drive 30 minutes or 30 miles or whatever outside of where I live and actually see it. I used to be one of those people when I would hear Black men on YouTube talking about, well, Black women this and Black women that. And I used to be like, well, not all of us. And I stopped doing that because when you're talking about a certain situation, common sense would tell you it's not everybody. There are Black communities that are thriving and doing well. Why can't we get over this single mother phenomenon? We can't get over it because no one wants to. The people that needs to discuss it, honestly, they sweep it under the rug. They attack people for bringing it up. They don't want to have a sincere, honest discussion about it. And as I mentioned earlier, the ones of us who are talking about it, we grew up with a single mother. So don't we have that right to talk about this? So people are trying to clown, because I read some of the comments, people are trying to clown Jason Whitlock talking about, well, he himself was raised by a single mother. Well, he's going to discuss what he knows. It's not, you have so many Black women out here thinking that they can do it all by themselves, and they can't. You also have a lot of Black women who relegate a good man or a husband to just money and maybe getting some D from time to time. But having a father in your child's life provides so much more than just what he can provide for monetarily, or whatever, and I'm going to go off on a tangent. I was going to make a separate video about this, about what a lot of Black women don't seem to understand about having a husband. When you get married, providing you picked a good man because you're a good woman, because let's face it, a lot of women don't know how to pick a good man because they're not a good woman. I said what I said. When you pick a good man and marry him, and you show yourself as a marriageable, traditional-minded woman, men just instinctively knows, I got to provide for my wife and the children that I have with her. I am, okay, like I said, a provider. I am a protector. I'm a moral support, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It goes down the line. A man will work 2 jobs if he has to, so that his wife can stay at home and rear his children. There's so much to having a husband that Black women don't seem to understand. Women, we as a community cannot be mad at Jason Whitlock for what he said because A, it was the truth. Whether the timing was bad or not, it was still the truth. But so many Black women have glorified the whole baby mama culture, the marriage ain't a goal, I ain't pressed to be married, what's a husband for? You know, he can leave you too. All of that negativity that Black women love to spout about marriage and having a husband. This is a topic that needs to be discussed, not just on my channel, and it's discussed on other channels. But as I've said, the women that need to hear this discussion, they're out there doing what a lot of Black women do. They're just having sex without really thinking about the consequences of tomorrow. And then they want to put the cart before the horse. They get pregnant. And now they're demanding that that man steps up to the plate and be the man that she was hoping that he would be. He didn't prove to you in his words and actions, but you just, oh, I like his swag and this and that. So I'm going to accidentally on purpose get pregnant. I used to say that years ago on this one forum that I used to be on. And I would say that Black women accidentally on purpose get pregnant because pregnancy can't be an accident if 80% of Black run homes are run by single mothers. That cannot be placed entirely on the man. Does not mean that men are blameless. You know, you have a lot of Black women saying things like, why aren't people talking to these men out here? As I've mentioned in my videos before, I try to concentrate talking to the young women. Men talk to the men. I try to talk to the women. My whole platform is about being preventative. Ladies, you don't have to be in this situation. You know, get yourself a husband, then bring forth your children. Oh, that's the point I was going to try to make when this one lady told me, it's women like you, blah, blah, blah. If I were talking to men, I would tell them, don't knock up a young lady that you don't see a future with. Don't get a woman that you're not married to pregnant. I don't care how much birth control she tells you that you're on. Look at this woman's spirit. Is she a good woman? Is she a decent woman? If she's some ratchet hood rat, whatever, and you want to smash because whatever, and she gets knocked up, then don't complain about women being this and that. But I don't talk to men. Not in that regard anyway. I try to talk to the women. You don't have to be in a situation. It's going to take us as women to reverse this baby mama culture. Us. And see, and the thing is, you have so many Black women that want to place the entire blame on men when it is women. We're the ones who create the nest for our future child. Am I married? Is he a good husband? Is he going to be a good father? This is something that you should determine before you get pregnant. But our community as a whole does not do that. We need an honest discussion about the single Black motherhood epidemic in our community. Point blank, period. That was my video for today. I always manage to forget things, so I hope I got really what I wanted to say off my chest. But I just hope that that man is not canceled, and that's something else. Again, we like to pick and choose what we get indignant over. That he does not deserve to be canceled for that. Because if that's the case, then cancel those women who are twerking about deleting babies. Cancel Black women going into restaurants while people are trying to eat and twerking on tables. That's ridiculous. And so many other things, just ridiculous. So, but again, check out my other videos, subscribe, like, and I will talk to you later. Bye.